Hi everyone. So I have Dmitry Borodin. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, almost right. Yeah, Dmitry,
Almost right.
Borodin or Borodin. That's I'm
Okay.
used to all of them. Yeah.
All right. All right. Used to be the chief product officer right at Wizata until recently, and we are going to talk about a pretty unusual topic. So basically, product market fit in enterprise product companies. This is quite interesting. Like Dmitry, why did you choose this topic at all?
Okay. Hi everybody. So Emilia, thanks for having me. Yeah, indeed, it's a very interesting topic, the enterprise product market fit. I'd say I didn't choose it probably voluntarily. It was just I was just following along the path. Yeah, it was throughout my career. I started first pursuing an academic path, so I had a PhD, and then I moved. Actually, that's how I moved to Belgium to do a European project, and it was a kind of postdoc, and it was related to the manufacturing context, which already sounds like an enterprise. So once you go into manufacturing, it's enterprise. Then after that, I switched to a private sector, and the company was a software vendor in supply chain management. And there you've got already very big customers, all global manufacturing groups, and you're immediately in the enterprise context. So that was the story, and I immediately landed in some sub products, technical product management, functional product management. So it was an immersion already in the enterprise sector.
Gotcha. So that's basically how you decided to become the product manager, right?
Yeah, that's actually interesting. It can be by decision or it can be you can say by faith. So in my case, it was I wanted to improve things. So by education, okay, I was computer science, so I could program. But what I noticed over time that I'm better at inspiring people and I can grasp business needs. So it turned out I was better at working with business and solving business problems. And let's say development for me, it was a means. It was a means to achieve business goals, to ease users' pains, to ease business pains, and all this ROI and all this kind of stuff.
It sounds like, I mean, this totally resonates with me. I feel like you have a lot more impact, right, in product management than just in development, although, of course, this is, a very valuable skill as well. So you hail from the technical background, and then you moved into manufacturing, and then you moved into software product management for big manufacturers, right? So supply chain management. I have a few friends actually who work in supply chain management, and it's pretty hectic. I have a friend who is account manager in huge logistics company, like shipping a lot of stuff internationally. So she's literally like parking ships. It's huge. And I think, enterprise is difficult enough, but if you combine enterprise with a field that is so complex, like logistics or, supply chain management, it's kind of, for me, inconceivable. Like, product market fit is an elusive concept, right? In your talk for Product Drive, you will be talking about product market fit in enterprise companies, and presumably you're taking your experience from your job experience, right? How do you determine product market fit for such complex environments, right? As supply chain management in enterprise companies, for instance?
Yeah, I'd say there is no easy answer. Of course, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. Everybody dreams of a product market fit, and of course, the earlier you establish it, the better. For the product market fit, how you can attempt it, okay, you need to have some success. You need to have some proof it's working. So this is the typical customer discovery technique of the product management. Okay, you have some hypothesis. Okay, you think it might work, and then you need a way to prove it, or you need different ways to prove it, or on the other hand, to prove it wrong and pivot. So there are different, so I'm going to talk about some of the how to do it, specifically from my experience, and also my recent experience at Visata also was very helpful there. So I'm happy to share it. And of course, there are different means. I don't know if I need to spoil my talk, so I can go a bit deeper in details right now, or if it's to leave for the talk itself.
Let's give us a little like clickbait, right?
Yeah, the clickbait, okay, enterprise. So you don't get users. So the problem is you can't talk to them like directly. The environment is complex. There are many stakeholders, and one want one thing, so they have a bit competing priorities. So you can't conclude things, or you can't validate hypotheses by talking to some of the stakeholders. You somehow need to go across the chain or reaching the buyers and so on. So one of the things is, okay, you can do actually projects. So you can start before developing a product or selling a product. You can start selling projects, some custom projects, to get into the environment and to achieve something and to validate things along the way. And the most important is to gather feedback as much as possible from any opportunity. That's one thing. Another thing is building a prototype. So you can build a really cheap prototype of the product and try to sell it. So you can try to sell it differently. You can go to trade fairs. Okay, with COVID, it's a bit more difficult, but still there are digital fairs. There are some face-to-face fairs restarting. So you can try doing that. So instead of just showing slides and marketing collateral, you can actually show something tangible, and people they engage more when they see things. When they can touch something, they are more keen to give you feedback and to talk to you.
Yeah,
that's, I would say, these are two big ones, and then depending on the maturity. So if you correct going further, there are more techniques to how to continue, because you can be successful in gaining 1 to early adopters, but that may still not be enough, even in the enterprise environment. Even if they are big groups, like for the more broad product market fit, you need more. So there are more techniques how to broaden your outreach.
Right, you kind of answered the question that I had next, right? So how is finding product market fit for, B2C versus like SMB B2B companies versus like large enterprise B2B companies? So you mentioned that you don't really have the direct feedback that much from all the different stakeholders. So kind of the follow-up that I would have in this case is, do you rely more on data analytics in this case, so like user behavior rather than interviews? Maybe, well, in the discovery process, that's difficult, right? Because before you have the prototype or before you have some functional product, right, at least an MVP, you are not really collecting a lot of usage data, right? Not collecting them at all. So now in this post-COVID reality where you can't really, go to these fairs and talk to the customers, how do you approach, right, the discovery phase when building, an enterprise product?
I'd say indeed the data is in the enterprise context here. When it's not even B2B2C, when it's just B2B, it's difficult. So, and then usually you don't have millions of users to collect data. So that's the experiences, you can have power users, you can have, let's say, regular users, but then the data, even if you get some data, it may not be very representative. Of course, you need to account everything, but to focus on some specific things. So I'd say the interviews is a really good technique, but the interviews, there you must focus on immersing yourself into the user shoes or user, buyer, stakeholder. So you really need to navigate well the context. If you don't know the context, if you're just talking, okay, there is for example, on the shop floor in manufacturing, there is an operator. You can talk to the operator, and if you don't talk right, if you don't talk within the context, the value out of it is not really relevant. So you need to really put yourself into the shoes, into the context, and be able to navigate the complex map. You can even map all the relationships of the stakeholders to see whom you need to talk and what you need to do. So summarize it as you need a strategy. It's not
Right.
just interviews. You really need to have a strategy, and the strategy you need to adjust it as you go. So you can't say, okay, this is a strategy. I'm going to work for 6 months like that. Or you need to have drafted something, and then you start, and you need to adjust because you'll be getting really valuable feedback.
Mm-hmm. So before starting the discovery, you basically map out the stakeholders and the companies that you want to talk to, right? And you create a strategy like whom you need to collect insights from, to learn valuable feedback. Yeah, this is all like fun and games, right? But let's imagine somebody is building a product and they aim to target enterprise companies, but maybe, you know, they're not like Elon Musk's of the world, so they don't really have a name to get the foot in the door. So from my perspective, what's challenging about the enterprise market as well is getting these conversations, right? So people might be reluctant to talk to you, right, if they don't know you. Like, how do you get the conversations with like the important stakeholders in enterprises lined up?
That's actually what I mentioned a bit earlier. Indeed, you can't just walk from the street. You don't knock the door of the enterprise office. So you need to find where they are ready to talk. So one thing, as I said, the fairs. So if like of course they should be relevant. These the stakeholders from the enterprise, they are looking for some solutions. Obviously, like you need to offer something that solves some existing problems. At least you need to be aware of the problems, so you need to be in the right place. So that's one of the points to engage. In the past, the fairs worked quite well. Even like, okay, you can go further, or you can even do some interviews at the spot, depending on whom you get. And sometimes you were likely to get some executive, like digitalization executive, or somebody really relevant. Fairs. Another thing is sales. So you can try to actually sell, you can generate incoming leads. So this is more into the marketing. Even enterprise, you can still try to build some inbound marketing. So on the website, for example, and the classical one, contact for demo, even these. So if you succeed in building those, when the leads are warm enough, and so they're ready to talk to you. And that's actually where you need to connect product people firsthand. So it's not, especially on the early stage, it's not just only sales trying to sell something. It's more, okay, you get the lead, and then you need to get maximum information within your customer discovery at this point.
Cool. No, that is really insightful. Like, I feel we could glean some insights from your talk as well, right? When we're planning to go a bit upmarket. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to your full talk on the 4th and 5th of October, right? So Dmitry will be speaking at Product Drive. Guys, please sign up if you want to hear more about how to target enterprise clients and how to get these insights to build enterprise products. Thank you so much for this conversation, and I'll see you in October. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.